Rise and Energize Her Morning Show is brought to you by Mogul TV Global Network, the number one streaming TV network for positive programming in the Mid Atlantic. To learn how you can energize your business and brand with media, visit www.themogulchannel.com.
Hi, I'm Tameka Chapman, and I am so excited to be one of the featured speakers at the Renewed Vision Summit for Christian Women. I will be talking about overcoming fear and doubt, breaking barriers to success with faith. So grab your free ticket at the link below, get it, and get inspired to get your renewed vision for your faith, family, and business in 2025.
This one here really do it for you.
Everybody, and welcome back to Mind Your Business. I am Ivori Claire, and thanks again for joining us. Before we get started, hopefully y'all been following me, been watching the videos, but before we get started, I like to take 3 deep breaths in and out. And if you are in the car, or you're not in a safe space, do not close your eyes. I repeat, do not close your eyes. But if you are in a safe space, you already know. Let's fully commit. All right? All right, breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last time. Breathe in. And exhale. Feels good, doesn't it? It does. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it to Friday. Listen, I know sometimes I know the struggle. What it took to get here. So I'm just happy that y'all made it. If you are if you are new to Mind Your Business, I want to say welcome. And if y'all regulars, welcome back, family. Welcome back. Y'all, here on Mind Your Business, what I like to do, I like to just, it is what it is. It's just minding your business, but it's really focusing on you. And I teach you techniques, some strategies, some just tips on how to actually thrive out here and not just survive, and to become the better version of yourself, right? The better version of yourselves. And again, I am not telling y'all anything that I am not doing or haven't incorporated in my life. So if you joined us last week, we talked about letting go, and what the important thing was, like letting all of that go, letting all that weight off your shoulders, and there's releasing some things and just releasing things. This week, we're going to talk about just living out loud. Yes, living out loud. It's okay to live out loud and unapologetically. Like, and that doesn't mean like when people say like live out loud that you have to do like all these extravagant things or go on these trips or it has to be costly. Living out loud is just doing what you want to do and being okay with it. Being okay with it. It could be just going to the movies by yourself. It could be going out to eat by yourself. But you know what? Just whatever that you want to do it. Do it. If some people say create a bucket list, but I'm not really too fond of bucket lists. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. But just create a list. And I didn't say not bucket list because, like, if you get to the end of the list, then what? Then what? But just create some things that you want to do, and make sure that you do it, because we always seem to put things off. Like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I do it when my kids graduate. I do it when my kids get grown. I do it when my grandkids. We always have an excuse. When I save enough money, we always have an excuse why we aren't living life. And we all know that tomorrow is not promised. So this week on Mind Your Business, y'all create a list. And not just create the list, y'all do your list. Okay? Do the things that you said you want to do on your list. So write your stuff down and write your list down and do it. And do it. All right? So that is all I have for you on this week on Mind Your Business. Y'all have a fantastic day and a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Until next time, I'll see you later.
Waking up with stars in our eyes, we see the world through new sunrise.
Today, I am bringing to you an amazing lady. Her name is Allison Body, right? So I want to tell you a little bit about Allison. Allison is a domestic abuse survivor that died for 33 seconds on April 8, 2017. She came back as a different person, full of purpose. It's now her life calling to help other women overcome their trauma and increase their confidence and self-worth so they can build the life they deserve. So help me welcome Allison Body. Hi, Allison. How are you?
Hello, hello. I'm doing well, and you?
I am great. I'm great. And I am so excited to speak with you today. I'm so excited to speak with you. I know that your journey and what is that you're doing to help other women is going to definitely resonate with a lot of our listening audience. So before we get into the good meat of it, I want to take a trip back and talk about your journey to becoming, because I know that as I mentioned, as I mentioned you in your intro, you have a journey. You have a journey that actually led you to being that domestic abuse survivor. So can we talk about that for a moment? And let's just take a step back and just listen to your story of how did you become who you are.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the biggest things is like learning to be vulnerable and open. So I'm an open book now, because I know that my story will help somebody somewhere.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, so I was married for I think 4 years. I can't even remember. And and essentially, what I call him is a master manipulator. So he was one way while we were dating, and then once we got engaged, saw some red signs. But it was once we were married that it was, oh wow, not who I thought you were.
yes,
Um, I experienced a little bit of, everything, unfortunately. So a lot of emotional, mental abuse is where it started. And then it turned to, more physical. Um, and during that time, I really lost myself. I really lost who I was. And to avoid, like, the fights, to avoid, any of the abuse, I buckled under. So that was like my way of trying to survive that marriage of like I'll just change who I am, and I actually became to believe that I was the problem and that I was the one that was causing all of this. And I know that a lot of women, unfortunately, we begin to believe what is being told to us by our
Yeah.
abusers. And so
Yeah.
my journey, like I tried to leave him a couple of times, and the last time that I tried to leave him went to Seattle, and then my family could not house me. They couldn't give me safe harbor. My siblings, they had children, and so they wanted to watch out for their children. And my mom, she came out to Savannah, Georgia, picked me up, and like we drove cross country to Seattle, Washington. But I also had two dogs that I refused to leave behind, and so her apartment wouldn't allow dogs. So when he came
Oh,
to Seattle, I had nowhere to hide. Um, and so, went back with him just because, I had nowhere to go. I was quite technically homeless at that point.
oh wow.
And so I went back, and at that point, it was like I was beaten. Like I tried to leave and I couldn't leave. And I was like, well, this is my life. I just have to learn to, really buckle under. And I was so unhappy. I was super depressed. And, really thought the worst things of myself. And,
Mhm.
um, you know, that was when I got pregnant. Unfortunately, wasn't trying to, and cried when I found out I was pregnant, and it ended up being ectopic pregnancy,
Oh no.
and he refused to take me to the hospital. He tried telling me that I was just trying to kill his child, and woke up that morning. It was April 8th, 2017. I will never forget. I remember seeing the time. It was 7:30 in the morning, like right on the dot. And I felt a pop in my abdomen and just was instantly agonizing pain. And for hours, he refused to take me to the hospital. So I didn't even get to the hospital until about 5 hours later. And then the hospital unfortunately believed him over me. When I was telling him the symptoms, and he was just saying that I'm a drama, I'm a hypochondriac, and so they kind of like took his side, and ended up waiting in the ER for another 4 hours. And so by the time that they actually got me back and found out that it was a imploded ectopic pregnancy, I was already like bleeding internally and ended up bleeding out on the table,
Oh,
and
no.
was dead for 33 seconds. They had to not only resuscitate me, but I basically got a blood transfusion because
Yeah.
lost
Oh,
almost all of my blood. They were saying I had like maybe a liter left in my body at that time, and had
wow.
woke up to like 4 bags of blood like tied to me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was when I came back. I don't remember the other side, but I came back with like a vengeance, and that's the best terminology I can use. Um, he no longer really had power like over me at all, and that was something new for me. So like he would tell me things, and I'm just like, whatever, like you can believe what you want to believe, but I know myself. And that's when I started fighting back, and it became a like, you don't have power over me, you can say what you want. And I didn't let it affect me, and because I wasn't giving him what he wanted, we stopped having sex, like we stopped like all the things, and I just avoided him. It turned into a whole situation of like, well, maybe you aren't the one for me. And I was trying to leave him, and all this time, and it was tough, and finally got to the point where I was able to leave, and he agreed to sign divorce papers. And I'm like, you know what, I need to like help others, and first I needed to help myself. And though I came back with a different person, I knew that I still needed to address that trauma. So I went to therapy. Um, but the missing piece that I noticed, at least for me, is that I didn't feel like super self confident. And again, I still felt like my worth wasn't there, and those things would come back and haunt me. I still had fears, not necessarily for my well being, because was never going to let that happen to me again, but fears about like my body, and like the fact that I may not be good enough for somebody. And so I did a lot of work. It took me about
Right.
2 years to really work through that. And during that time, I changed my bachelor's degree to more of that health and fitness focus, and then got my certification in health coaching. Worked as a health coach, but it didn't touch on the competencies that we need. that's when I got my therapeutic art life coaching certification, and I did a lot of continuing education to really dive into, so this is what I did and how does it translate to what they're teaching, and found that like what I was doing for myself and working to change my beliefs and change my thought patterns is what they teach. I'm like, wow, like this aligns so perfectly with what I did, and I know that it's going to help so many others. And so that's kind of where I am at now, of teaching others to change your thought patterns and your beliefs.
I love that, Allison.